Pull it to you.
All right, we're live. I'm going to get Tyler's mic all adjusted and ready to go. Give me a thumbs up if you can hear me. I want to make sure that the audio's working. I'd hate for
I can
something
hear
to
you.
happen. Well, I know you guys can hear me.
Yeah,
But
we can hear you.
yeah, tonight we are joined by Tyler Collins. Tyler, thanks for coming by and talking to us. We've been talking about this for a long time, but you had school you had to attend.
Yeah, I'm still just a little schoolboy.
Did you graduate or
Not
you just
yet?
done?
I still got more classes. I got.
Okay, you got more classes. So you're just done for this year, or
Just that semester. So I got
gotcha.
a spring.
so? What
course.
was you taking, like basic math and stuff, like struggling with basic math?
Yeah, the whole 2+2 thing gets me every time.
It's tough.
But no, I'm still actually in engineering school, so I'm still going to be an engineer. And
I got
I'm
you.
a engineering technician right now, but I'm still
Trying to finish.
just trying to get that piece of paper that makes me feel like I'm worth something.
Yeah, get more money to buy more race car parts,
Yeah,
right?
that's what everybody says. You have to have a degree to be something. So.
There you go. Okay, so let's start a little bit. Let's talk about how you got started into racing. We'll focus on you for a little bit, and then we'll get into motorsports talk, okay? So how did you get started in racing?
I got started when I was little. My dad and uncle, they had a race team. I think Tori started racing in the late 80s, and they got their race car, and they both loved it. Dad didn't really like driving it. He liked working on it, so Tori liked driving it, and they had a good thing going. They ran Northern All-Stars with, like, Bob Pierce and all those guys, and Tori had a really good career. And then so when I was little, I was going to the track with them, and I always wanted to drive it, and my dad was like, no. And I was like, all right, that's not. So, I kept wanting to, and I kept wanting to. And then finally, after I started working and making some money, I just bought a race car. And I said, Dad, I'm going racing. Are you coming? And he was like, yeah, all right. So
Gotcha.
then, it just kind of took me a while to get my feet under me, and took us a while. Like, Tori always had, like, Rayburn cars, swing arm stuff. And then I bought Masterbuilt 4-bar car, and, we were trying to figure out, like, do you actually need shocks? Because according to Rayburn, it was like, you just need conies,
Right.
and it's
Yeah.
and so trying to learn all that stuff, and then also learn how to drive at the same time was interesting at first, but so far it's gone pretty good, I think.
Oh, yeah. So if you've not checked out, I did do a shop talk with Tyler. That was probably, 3 or 4 months ago, probably 5 months ago, maybe?
Yeah,
it's been a while back. But if you've not had a chance to check that out, it was a very cool episode, and it was my first video to hit 1,000 views. And I did text that to you. That was pretty awesome. No, that one did hit 1,000 views. Your Jackson 100 video.
Yeah.
And that's another great video, too, that I did with Tyler. The Jackson 100, ran a crate car on Friday night, switched motors out in a cattle barn at like 3 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah.
And then you ran a Super on Saturday, which,
Blew up a Super on Saturday.
but you were moving forward,
Yeah.
though. But that was an awesome time. I mean, I had a great time, and I was glad you guys let me hang out and do that. I mean, we were all, I don't know, you were raring to go.
Yeah.
But the rest of us was like, the crickets were chirping, and yeah, it was a long night, but it was well worth it, I think.
Yeah, it was. Definitely. We got exactly what we wanted out of Saturday. Like, we didn't expect to win or set the world on fire or anything. I just wanted to, first night out in a Super, just race crates the night before, just
Right.
put this engine in. I was like, man, if we can just prove that we can, something, pass one car, who knows? Obviously we exceeded our expectations, and we did more than we wanted to. It got exactly like it was a good night for us, aside from the blown engine.
What's your biggest accomplishment so far with the crate car?
It's definitely got to be winning the Collins Memorial back-to-back years. The last year that my grandma was still here, so she got to see me win that for my grandpa, and then the next year when it was her memorial with him. So that was super special for all of us, and that, like, the night that I won I guess this last year when it was both of their memorials, like, everything was going wrong that night. Car wasn't running, track was being weird, like. We ended up finding it was a coil that was going out. We were swapping spark plugs and pulling the carburetor off and doing all kinds of things. It was like, man, this thing is not running. And we changed the plugs and gapped them a little different to try and get it to run. And it worked for like the first 5 laps of the feature, which was enough to give me the lead. And then I just had to work lap traffic right and hold off Trent Green. And it, like, to be able to, like, still pull off the win after, like, it seemed like it just wasn't going to happen was like
having a rough night.
Oh, yeah.
So you won the track championship at Brownstown this year.
Yeah.
That's a pretty big accomplishment.
Yeah. I like to think like I wouldn't race for Brownstown if it was like Brownstown points. Like I like to still call it like I know we race like 99% of the races at Brownstown, but I like it's a series, so I like but we didn't expect to do that this year. We wanted to do traveling, and then the economy went to what it went to, and diesel went 3 times higher, and race tires went higher, and everything went higher, and it's like I can't drive down to Tennessee and go race for any less than 10 grand. And then those races were getting rained out at the right times. And then by the time we were halfway through the year and we hadn't traveled and we were leading the points, it's like, well, I guess we might as well see this through. It seems more financially, if we can think we can win. So it was really cool to be able to win that. Especially with the competition level around here, it's like the crate competition is insane. So to be able to win the championship and win the races that we won, it's still quite. We haven't had the banquet yet, so we haven't been able to really sink in. But it was. I'm looking forward to having that big trophy in the garage.
I'm gonna be at the banquet. Do you want me to GoPro that? I'll bring you beer and I'll GoPro it too.
I don't. Yeah,
we can add that to your collection on my YouTube channel.
Yeah, Matt's riding with us.
Oh,
yeah, I'm riding with you guys.
That's great.
We're gonna show up in style.
I'll make a tab at the bar.
There you go. That's fine.
Yeah, flag to flag tab.
Anthony said JT's hair's on point again tonight, but you're rolling with it. You're rolling with it. They never did call me back about that shampoo sponsorship either.
Sorry.
You don't put any product in that? It's just shampoo?
Aussie. And conditioner.
Aussie awesome.
And then I don't know why everybody's... JT wears his jacket in here every week.
It is cold in here.
No, it's not. The heat's running.
Hey, Jared Sears watching, though. He told me he'd never watch until I got Scottsburg Express on here, but look who's watching.
Yeah, there you go. And then Corey Baker said I need to call Cooley's Heating and Air about getting some heat sponsorship.
Heat and sponsorship.
Well, yeah, heat and sponsorship.
You got a dang heater.
It's running. It feels great in here. It feels great.
40 degrees. Well, no wonder it ain't running.
I can see my breath.
Gavin McCormick says Tyler owes us beer.
I had plenty of beer for him at Eldora, and he never showed up. Well, it was just me and Trent chugging them. And
yeah, if you had them and they didn't show up, then that's all on them.
It was me and Trent and his girlfriend Mallory and my girlfriend Allie, and we were all drinking. We were like, "Where's Gavin?" He never showed up.
Yeah, that's on him then. There we go, boys. There's a new record. My Uncle Eric is tuning in from the beaches of Mexico.
Wow.
We are now
global. We're global.
Yeah, we're global. This show is going global. Your ticket will be there for you, Matt, for Brownstown. Yeah, see, Grant was nice stuff. He bought my ticket for me. He bought my ticket, and I'm riding with you guys. This is just getting any better.
Why don't you?
And Tyler's buying all my beer at the banquet. So
yeah, pick him up, Grant.
You guys just live 5 minutes. I'll ride with you guys.
That's out of my way.
Huh?
That's out of my way.
I'll buy anybody beer if they pay me cash. I hope I don't get paid in a check like we do at every race. Yeah. If it's cash, I'll buy beer.
So it's check.
Yeah.
They got a 1099 that dude.
Yeah, well, you can 1099 cash.
That is true. So let's talk a little bit about this coming season. We talked about it a little bit before the show, but kind of like what's your plans for 2023?
2023, as long as we're still working on getting this engine put back together after I toasted it, but hopefully you get the engine back together by Icebreaker, and the plan is to run at least all the big shows at Brownstown, if not all the shows. I don't like running for points, so I don't want to say we're running for Brownstown Super Points, but they don't do that many shows, and a lot of them are big that we'd want to go to anyway, so it might work out that we end up kind of doing that, but for sure kind of focus on local super stuff, and then try and hit some money races with the crate around the country. Of course, if Grandpa and Grandma's races, crate, we'll be doing that, and then there's that $20,000 to win at Paragon that for crate that we'll be doing that. So we'll be doing a mixture of both, but we're going to kind of try and focus on the super.
Gotcha.
Are they going to move that Memorial race?
I was just going to ask that.
Sorry.
You're good.
I don't know.
Haven't heard nothing on that.
Yeah, I think it'll be somewhere. So if Rock Crest doesn't open, then I'd imagine it has been at Brownstown before. So
I
think
hadn't heard nothing.
It needs to be somewhere.
Yeah, that's a good race to lose.
Question.
Yeah.
It used to be on a 3-day weekend, didn't it?
Yeah, it used
Most
to be.
of
It
the
was
time.
usually. It used
We've ran
to
it a
be
couple times.
on the Sunday of Labor Day, which always drew a good crowd because it was so I think it's going to be on. Hopefully, it's on a Sunday of either Memorial Day or Labor Day or something like that again. But yeah, that's always what I loved about that race was that it was such a good turnout because there was still like all these people that like ran. Drove race cars or went to the track when my grandparents promoted the track, and so they're like, oh, we love coming and supporting and racers, even though it's like a late model race, like there was guys in other classes that wanted to win it just because like of the night that it was, and I get that, like I remember like even if there was like the super stock like the Mark Clark Memorial at Rock Crest, it's like I thought it was cool that I won the late model portion of that. I didn't win the Mark Clark, but it's like all of the Clark family has always been like good friends to us, and I've always enjoyed being around all of them, so it's really cool to be able to like, and I know other people feel the same way. So
well, it's just like Jackson 100 weekend because even support class guys want to win the night of the Jackson.
I cried a little.
Yeah,
Just a little.
I don't
when that tire exploded. Oh,
I won Sprint Week.
Did you?
No.
Oh,
Sprint Week.
jeez. No Way Out 40.
No Way Out 40.
he's
I won
reliving that.
Yeah.
Go back to 1996. Look up Zach Stalker wins No Way Out 40. Great YouTube content.
I knew that was coming.
2 years ago. All right.
So right now, I don't want to like say that this is concrete. I know that Flag to Flag Media has a lot of late breaking news, and we're your go to source for racing news. But your plan is the icebreaker.
yeah. Plan is to hopefully be done for the icebreaker. I know it's got like a 80% rain out rate or
Right,
something.
yeah.
But, it's still, you can't win them all if you don't win the first one, right? Or what?
Yeah, exactly.
Davenport just said that.
Yeah. Is that? Yeah, exactly. Like that's what we're going for at Brownstown. I'm anybody out there? I'm kidding.
So if you win the icebreaker, does it change your yearly plans as far as what races you're
it doesn't
race?
change. It does not change my yearly plans because even if that does happen, I don't have the budget to do anything else still, even with winning that. But if we win that and somebody comes along and they're like, hey,
so if you leave Brownstown and you're in the top 15 points, I don't know if technically what the breakdown on. I know there is a breakdown on this somewhere. We can look it up, but like there's actually show up money, so you could
Donnie said $700 if you're in the top 15.
$700
Just show up.
if you're in top 15
But
points.
you're going to
so
have to go to East Bay. You can't skip East Bay now. So you're going to have to get that ready because
I think Tyler Collins can skip East Bay.
he's got to get there now.
I'm okay.
We're looking for a ride for East Bay.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's the late breaking news.
So
Tyler Collins.
are
been to
you
East
still
Bay.
going to do the motor swap Jackson 100 weekend?
No. I would do both nights in the Super.
Yeah.
If somebody would want me to race their car as a crate, I'd probably do that just to try and still win that Bowman. We'd see how that worked out. I don't know. But, no, the plan would be to race the Friday Night Super Show.
I got you.
It'd be a good time. Race both super.
Did you win the Bowman?
No, I was third.
Third.
Have you ever won the Bowman?
Nope.
No, you haven't won it. That third's your highest that you've gotten the Bowman?
Yeah, I won it. I mean, it's I won all the big races. Like it's, and I kind of thought I think we would have had a better shot at it if it would have been ran that Friday night, and then instead of like coming back the week around. But, yeah, I mean, you want to win all of them. That's how I am.
Have you won the Bowman?
No, I haven't.
You
No.
haven't won. Okay.
Yeah.
That's not an
That's
easy
why I
one to
didn't know.
win.
No.
I mean, that's huge.
No, I mean, Chad won it this year, and it's like, Chad was super tough all year. So it's like, I don't, and then Steve was second. So it's like, I was in the mix, but, it just didn't, or maybe I got fourth. I don't remember. Steve, Kane, we were all up there, and it was a good race. So it's like, it's so hard to win those. It's like, I said it in every interview this year. It's like, man, it's like, I feel lucky to have, beat these guys a handful of times that we did and get to be in the winner circle knowing that like my night, one little thing could have led me to fifth. It's like, we're all so tight. It's like, it takes a lot of hard work and dedication, but it also takes a lot of things to go your way, a little bit of luck to be able to end up in the winner circle. So
Yeah, I'm the same way with you, though. I really wish the weather would have played out where we could have raced it on Friday night instead of Saturday, but Mother Nature had other plans, I guess.
that would have been a really late night if they would have somehow got it in. I would have been swapping engines at breakfast time.
But do you think, though, like if it wouldn't have rained, it would have been a late night? Because I think the weather's really what kind of
I just
delayed
like,
us.
yeah, the weather for sure. Like it wouldn't have been. I just meant like if they would have if the rain would have not continued through the night. Like if it would have just rained and then they would have ran the track in, like when they were trying to.
Yeah, I've been really late.
And then, yeah.
But it really wouldn't have mattered anyway, though, because after when me and you talked about it in your trailer, if you would have won the Bowman 50, it would have still been a late night because
it would have been a real.
had a lot
if
of
we would
party
have won,
planned.
yeah. If we, I don't. That engine swap would have taken at least 3 hours longer, but I'd have
absolutely.
been probably intoxicated if I'd have won.
We probably wouldn't have started till 3 o'clock in the morning. Zane Powell said you're pretty, Tyler. I mean, that's a pretty good compliment, I guess.
Yeah, he's a good-looking dude too.
Yeah.
Zane's a good dude. He's from down in Kentucky. He's a tough racer down there. He came up Brownstown a few times, and I like Zane. He's a tough competitor. I appreciate the compliment, though.
Yeah.
You don't always want to be complimented on your racing things, right? You want to, sometimes you want people to tell you look pretty.
Absolutely, it's an ego boost. What's going on, Logan? Braden Watson said Robert Rainey said he wanted you in his car during the Bowman.
I don't think I'll fit in that seat. I don't think one leg would fit in that seat.
No, he got the Fast Time Award 2 years ago.
Yeah,
and I had to go down there and give him the Fast Time Award or whatever.
Race clean.
I'm a big dude, but here comes little Robert Rainey running in front of his car, and I'm like standing over top of him, and I'm like, this looks kind of weird. But actually, Derek, we talked about that before the show. What about Crate Week at East Bay? Have you ever thought about going down there for that?
I have, and I've told Dad before, I'm like, it'd be really cool to go down there before it closes, and then I watched the competition down there, and it's like it's not a track that suits crates. I don't think it's one of those places where luck plays an even bigger factor. You got to qualify good. It just a lot of the times the heat races seem pretty one lane. I don't know. I haven't been down there, but just from watching, it's it's hard to say. I think I'd still like to, but just weighing the how much money it takes to go to Florida. It takes to haul a car to Florida, and then let alone go racing and stuff. But Neil went down there last year, and he did really good up until he hit that tire. He was doing really good, and I was getting excited. I was like, man, Tyler's gonna he's got a really good shot to win this thing, and then that tire jumped out of nowhere and bent his front clip. And
right.
Props to them. They worked on it.
They had a little bit of help.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, he got hooked. He got hooked a little bit. I can't remember it exactly, but I know they worked their butts off to get that thing fixed. They were welding on the car out there and to get back out there and still be, he was still showing a lot of speed even with whatever was still messed up in that car, being able to fix it there at the track with a hacksaw and a welder and go back out there and still put on a pretty good show.
Yep. Robert and Braden. Braden Watson, Tyler Collins is a rip-off version of Chad Stapleton.
Ouch. Wish.com Chad Stapleton. That hurts.
Zach Bird said, I haven't seen Stalker since October, and he's still a unit. But I'm proud of you. I don't know. It's just,
thank you, Zach.
Just your demeanor. I think those updates have really changed you. I really have. Me and JT talk about it all the time. Yeah. Like your swagger, the way you walk, the way you talk, everything has changed since you got your car.
He was
back
telling
up
us
here.
before the show started he's guaranteeing at least 7 victories at Brownstown.
That's what he said, didn't he? That's what you said.
Yeah.
He's like, ain't never, and nobody else has a shot. That's what he was saying.
With superheat solution shocks.
That part.
He said the year is over. It's done. Brownstown, take the modifieds off the schedule and give me the check. That's exactly what you said.
It's going to be embarrassing.
So then we did talk about this too. So Braden Watson, he changed his modified. I guess he's coming after Stalker. But everybody else is selling their stuff because they know Zach's got updates and new shocks from Superheat. So it's over. I mean, just write the check. Actually, what we're going to do is I'll talk to Jim and them, and we'll just go ahead and give you the 2023 check at the 2022 banquet. You want to do that?
Okay, yeah. Let's
I mean, I think it's. I mean,
let's go ahead and do it.
Hey, Strickers, he's out too, so you're going to go over to Florence and just win all their races also?
Yeah.
That'd be awesome.
Yeah.
yeah.
He might have to beat Trent Green, but other than that,
he's good.
He's Trent's a pushover, man. You just give him a little door.
I don't know. No.
I'll let you. Read
water
Kyle.
dog.
I'll let you read Kyle's comment.
Gosh.
Poor Robert.
He deserved it.
So Derek Walton says 7 victories or 7 spin outs. That's rough.
Yeah, it's all right.
Water Dog ain't got. He needs to come to the track and actually watch you one time.
Yeah.
Don't he?
Don't be talking trash if
he
you
would get
coming.
the 7 hot dogs out of his mouth.
That's true.
He would be able
I will say this, though. I will say this, and I love Zach. But his spin outs are quick spin outs though. Like they're not slow spin outs. There's a lot of speed in those spin outs. I think even though your car's spinning, it's still hooked up.
Oh, it's not hooked up.
No, but I'm saying like as fast as his car spins.
You're not helping.
What?
You're not helping.
I'm gonna tell you this: the
like
last,
a slide cone.
the last 2 or 3 races, he was really fast, but he had a new spotter, and I think that really put
Is
him
that what it is? New stick guy?
new stick guy, and I think it really helped.
Does that make you faster? Your stick guy? I mean, does it help if you change your stick guy? Does it make your car faster?
I've changed my stick guy and it's made me slower. So I guess I've had when my normal guy couldn't show up and I had somebody else do it, and we were getting some different signals, and I was trying to like learn sign language or something, and I was like, I don't know what the hell's going on.
Speaking of that, since you're on the show, I want you to have an opportunity to give a shout out to your crew guys, because your normal stick guy is a pretty good guy.
Yeah, Alex. It was his brother actually that his brother was the one that he was giving me weird gaps, and I went back and watched the video, and he was giving me like this, and I had like a straightaway and a half, and I was like, that's this, man. What are you like? Why was I? But
Keep digging.
no, Alex and Zach Taylor, they're there every week. They're helping me. So yeah, like just so much keeps a lot of work where I can focus on the car like I need to. Like
right.
What those guys do is like it's such a big help. Like I know sometimes they're like, oh, I wish we could, you don't know that much about the car or this, that, and it's like, no, it's like that's what I need. Like all the little stuff that I don't have to focus on, so that I can focus on what I need to focus on as a driver and like as setting up the car. My dad, my uncle Tori, when he's not racing, he's big help. Had some extra. My buddy Jacob came over for the Jackson. Allie, she's big help on the car. She, when she's not chasing Trip around because he's a little too wild, but she'll change my tear offs, do whatever, all the stuff that it's like the things that I don't have to worry about, so that like just leave that pressure. Like that's a big thing on race night for me, is not having to be too stressed out, so I can really like calm down and do what I need to do.
Got you. It does make a big difference. Short circle count as a lap, right? So I don't know. I guess how many laps do you technically put on a car a night?
I don't know.
I mean, if we count the short circles,
I'm gonna say this right now.
Yeah, let's say it.
I didn't even hardly spin out till last year. We had some issues.
I will say
had
that
some issues.
I will say that if you go back and you watch Zach's pure stock videos,
and
last year Zach,
2 years
last
of
year,
modifieds.
right? But last year Zach was not a good representation of your driving.
No, it was
now
awful.
that's last year's what we all remember. But like you can go back and watch the video and see that
last year was awful.
Yeah,
To say the least.
It's motivation for this year.
That's
Exactly.
Right. Yeah.
You got them updates. You're gonna go.
Shut up.
New shocks.
Got updates, shocks, taking a class, teaching a class.
Yeah. I'm already teaching a class.
Speaking of
Sign up.
that, if you watched last week's episode, class registration will be opening up soon. When did you say that the class was?
This summer sometime. Tyler's going to be our
No,
guest speaker.
I'm not going to be guest speaker. I want to be front row. I want to know what is the secret behind spinning out and running seventh?
Oh, wow.
When is the show you're going to? What's the dates on it? It's in February, right?
No, it's at the end of January. 2 weeks.
Okay, so first week of February, we were open registration for this class with special instructor Tyler Collins. Zach's just the man behind. He's going to set up classes and stuff.
Yeah, just
Tyler's
pay me.
actually teaching it, and he ain't won the class. Zach's just going to give Tyler the book, and Tyler's going to teach it.
That's because I know how to read.
Yeah, that's
I go to school. I go to school.
Graduated.
Oh, in what?
I graduated already.
With what? GED?
2 degrees.
I want to talk about Kyle's comment right here, because you all are racers, and
I agree with it.
I agree with it 100%. I think it changes racing completely. I know it's just 2 sticks, but to me it changes everything completely, because I'm going to use this as an example. JD, the last 3 nights they've raced at Vado, if you take sticks out of the equation, does he know that Larson's where he's at? Does he know that Bobby Pierce. I'm not saying that those guys were going to beat JD. I'm not saying that. But I think it changes the whole mentality of.
I tell you what, in those situations, though, I almost think that, like, if you took sticks away from everybody, I don't know that the racing's as good. Because watching JD, and he just knows what he needs to do to win and not do any more. He's this really smart guy, right? He's not putting any more tear on the car than he needs to. He's not putting himself in situations that are going to be detrimental. So you take signal sticks away from everybody, and he doesn't know his gap. Well, then JD just put a straightaway on the field, in my opinion.
Yeah,
watching how good his car is right now, and him if you put him doing what Pierce did last night, if you put them both driving that hard, JD, in my opinion, is gone.
Right.
I will say this, though. When I started 10, 11 years old, ever since then, my dad's always stood in turn 4, and I've always seen him every time. Hands, the guy has monkey arms, so, I could see what he's doing.
Right.
And, I've looked for him coming out of turn 4 every race, and he's always, helped me out when it comes to that stuff. So
Who do you look for off of 2?
I try to look for you, but I never do see you. So, you take the sticks away, they're going to figure out a way. When you used to be able to stand on the backstretch at Brownstown, people were all the time sticking their hands underneath the fence. But
I think I kind of see it both ways. You know what I mean? Like, to Tyler's point, I think if you get a car that's out front that's dominant, and he doesn't know any better.
But that also
he's gone.
that does bring in, the whole reason that why behind you do that is you don't want to make a mistake and you don't want to hurt your car. So it's like, well, then you're going to have the leader making a dumb decision in lap traffic and collecting, or he's going to pop it. He's going to just destroy his right rear on the cushion or something. So it's, to me, it's like hard to say exactly where it would be better or where it wouldn't, but I agree that if you took it away from everybody and you found a way to take signaling away from I would be for it. I don't use it that much except for the gaps, just to know how hard I do or don't have to push it, which is really all I care about. A lot of those guys get really into it with go high here and low here, and they figure all that out under green, and I'm like, I don't have that much time I can't look away for that long and figure all that out. But that is frustrating to a certain point when you're the guy in second, right? And you're working on the leader and you're working on something, and then you just see him come down and take your line, and it's like, dang.
Yeah.
These cars aren't supposed to have rear view mirrors, so that does suck. But it's everybody has. We're all on the same playing field right now, so it's like I would be okay with losing my signals as long as everybody else did.
Yeah,
but it's if we're all going to have them, I'm going to use it.
Right, across the board.
In the pure stocks, when I had a big lead, Dad would still go like this, so that way I would not let up,
Because mentality, as a driver, I'm assuming that if you don't have any kind of signal whatsoever, you assume that whoever's behind you is on top of you.
Yeah.
That's just the nature of it. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Right.
So, but to your point, you're going to run as hard as you can run.
You're going to run.
You assume
that
second is getting ready to pass you.
Yeah.
Craig, there is heat in here. JT, he loves that jacket. It was a gift that somebody bought him, and he just will not take it off. So it is pretty warm in here. It's pretty cozy.
Yeah, it's 46.
I got my sleeves rolled up.
Yeah, see, he's got his sleeves rolled up. So we just
he's also
between Carhartt
20 pounds of meat on his arms.
Well, between Carhartt sponsorships and Aussie sponsorships, JT's loaded down there, and Blue Big Red this week too. He's changed it up from his Mountain Dew. Kyle said we look like idiots doing it. I will agree. I'll agree with that sometimes. People waving them sticks around. And then you think, is people even watching them? Like Tyler said, sometimes you get in situations where you're racing so hard. I don't even know how people got time.
If I'm not leading, I don't look. If I that's where if I am not, I guess I should it depends on if I pass a couple guys, if I started deep and I get to a point where I got a big gap in between me and the next guy that I'm getting to, and I want to know if I can try some different lines without getting passed back, then I might look a little bit. But for the most part, if I'm not the guy out front, I don't care.
You got one goal.
Yeah, I got one goal, and that's to get to that guy. And it's it don't matter who's behind me. Especially if I'm right on somebody, especially second, third. If I'm I'm focused on one thing, and that's hitting my marks and figuring out what I have to do to get by
to
those
the
guys.
I mean, Derek made a comment.
Derek's right.
49 worked traffic last night better than I've ever seen before.
I'm telling you what,
he did. He picked them apart. Like,
well, here's the thing too. You could also see, like you said, he wasn't. I mean, he was pushing his car, but I think it had more than what he was pushing.
Oh yeah,
because you would see him get up to them lap cars, and he'd go in the corner, and he would zoom right by him, and he would kind of slow up a little bit.
But even when Bobby showed him, Bobby got his nose up there a couple times. I mean,
he said he never seen him.
He never seen him, but
you would
a lap later he was like
Bobby's adapting way better than I thought Bobby would adapt.
Yeah,
I really didn't think he would adapt that well.
No.
Yeah.
He's a wheel man. I'm not a Bobby Pierce fan. I don't really like a lot of things about Bobby, but like he can wheel a race car better than a whole lot of people. Like he really knows like how to get up on the wheel and make something happen.
It just didn't seem like a Longhorn would fit his driving style to me, but they're making it work, and he's getting smoother. Really, he's not throwing it in like he used to, like young Bobby.
Right,
he's more mature.
I think maybe he just had to with that. With
the Pierce car.
Maybe the car.
I don't know.
Had to throw it in there.
I liked it better when he threw it in there. I made for some good shows.
You might be on to something, Stalker. Just saying.
I don't know.
Stalker's throwing it in there in 2023. See if them new updates stick. Caleb Schreier, he agrees with no sticks. They need to go. Jeff Wilson said he never used sticks in his career.
My uncle
did. Start a petition here. No sticks.
Yeah, I know Tori. He'd like up until the last few years. Like I don't think he ever really paid much attention if his guy was up there doing much or not. But he doesn't. For the most part, a lot of guys, especially like the older guys, they're all like, not to say you're old, Jeff. Sorry, but that's how like they just went out there and they just raced, and it's like to a point like I would love to be able to do that, but like I said, if everybody else is doing it, it's like you gotta do it. You gotta play the game that everybody else is playing.
There's no way to police it.
Mike Fields is right. Biggest problem with sticks is using them
the block. Yeah.
Because I mean, if you got your guy on the very bottom and you tell him, somebody's coming up hot on you up top, and you tell him to go to the top. I mean, let that driver do his thing.
Right.
Yeah.
Let them figure it out on the track, not
which I've had my signal guy, like he'll tell me like somebody's coming on the high side, and I've known my car like it'd be too tight or something like that, and I feel like I'm going to shove off. So it's like I don't go up there to block him. Like even though he's like, even if I try, I knew I could. There's been times that I have, be like, oh okay, somebody's coming high, and but like for the most part, I think like a lot of guys out there, they make their own decisions, but you get the guys out there that only do what their signal guy says, and that's the part like, and you can watch some of those big shows, and those guys, they live and die by their signal guy, and I think that's the part that a lot of guys have a problem with, and I do too. It's like you were saying, if you see a guy just cut somebody off immediately, and a lot of those guys have signal guys on each end of the track, every corner. Like they're they're never like me. I got one, so it's like I have to wait a whole lap to figure out what's going on. And some of those guys would be like, well, they'll be running one line down the front stretch, and then down the back stretch going into 3. They're like, oh no, they just suddenly change their line. And then they'll change it again going into 1. And
Bobby's one of those guys. Yeah. He lives and dies by Bob. Yeah. I mean, it's crazy. Yeah. As soon as Bob says it, Bobby's on top of it.
I watched him guys at the Jackson a couple years ago. Me and Dad sit there. We were in the pits. And I tell you what, that boy, you could tell Bob was freaking doing sign language up here. Next thing you know, Bobby's, he's right.
He's on it. Yeah.
And if he ain't, Bob's mad, and you can tell then.
Oh, yeah. I like seeing him mad. It's funny.
Yeah.
I think it's funny that Michael stepped in. Knock it off, kids. Because Braden's still all over Robert. He wouldn't have any reason to go to the races if it wasn't for the sticks.
I'm excited that Robert's going to be racing again next year.
Me too.
Me too. I know Robert was still at the track with Chad and stuff, but he was just talking shit on behalf of Chad. I want him doing that on behalf of himself.
Right.
Let Chad do his talk. I want you in a car too.
Yeah.
Like
you better watch quick times.
Talk about
yeah. Hot lap hero.
Oh,
I'm just kidding, Robert.
No, he ain't.
All we got to do is name Jordan Weaver, and he's scared. I remember Diamond Dick Phillips, stick guy at Brownstown, used to use big green Hawk hands for sticks. They do get creative with them, with the colors and all that stuff. And then
they done banned the lighted
light
sticks.
ones. You can't have the lighted sticks. they're illegal.
Yeah, I got yelled at like Jamie on the receiver like 2 years ago at Brownstown because we were doing that racing down at Tennessee, and you could have them, and Dad bought some off Amazon. Right. He was like, these are kind of cool. I was like, all right. So he got them, and like they were kind of nice, especially if nobody else had them. It's like really easy the easier it is to pick out your stick guy, obviously the way better that they are, so you don't have to like search for them. But yeah, then they showed up. We had them at Brownstown, and like trying to remember. Yeah, Jamie was yelling at me, and then they were announcing, and they were like, "Hey, put your signal sticks away." And then Jamie was like, "If you don't get if whoever has signal sticks, you're going to be DQ'd if they don't put them away." And I'm like, it's sitting in this race car.
Right.
Like what? Yeah. Like what do you want me to stop the car and get out and be like, "Hey, you got to put those away, or I'm DQ'd." And then I'm DQ'd for getting out. I'm like, I don't know what you want me to do.
It happened to Dietz over at Bloomington. When I was announcing over there, they had the glow sticks or whatever, which they wasn't aware that you couldn't have them in the ILMS. I mean,
yeah.
But I was like hollering over the PA system, "Put your sticks away, I'm like, but the race was going, and I'm like,
nobody can hear you.
Yeah.
Next thing you know, you're gonna, somebody may already have this, but you're gonna have stuff on your dash, and someone's just going.
I know that other people like I already know, like you only need one receiver to hear. Then you can put an AirPod in the other one, have your cell phone in your pocket, and some guy can just be on the phone telling you everything that's going on. There's a bunch of ways that people have figured out a way around it. To me, I don't like it. Like, I don't want, like, the perspective that somebody has in the stands is not the same perspective that I have in the car. And it's like, I don't want to be told go somewhere on the track because I know, like, maybe the race car doesn't like it right then, or what, maybe we don't have the balance right to do what that person is doing or what you want me to do. It's like, I'm doing, for the most part, the best I can with what I got. And I understand, like, sometimes you can move lines or whatever, but I like driving my race car and like being like, that's one of the things I love about racing. It's just like, it's just you out there against 19 other guys. And it's like, if you start making it too much of a team sport, then it just, the teams are super important, but it's just like when the racing starts, it should just be, 1v1v1, but like everybody's out there who did the best work in the pits and then who can drive it the best.
Yep. 100%. Michael said we were backing Robert Rainey. Watch out. Or Robert, watch out. What brand of car? Rainey, what kind of car are you running next year? Can you tell us? Or is it a secret? Michael Bennett said it's some homemade.
It's a kryptonite.
Some homemade crap.
I'll break the news for him. It's a kryptonite.
Yeah.
And it's good. I think it's going to be a good car. I like those kryptonites seem kind of hit or miss depending on what help you get, but I think they're going to be good.
The same kryptonite that he bought then?
Yeah.
Okay. I got you.
Yeah.
I thought he sold it and bought something else.
I think it's going to be a good car for him.
Yeah.
Like I said, I'm looking forward to him being back at the track racing. Not looking forward to his mouth, but
be good to have him back on the track, though.
Oh yeah.
Kyle, I want to make a mockery of it, like buy some of those trailer lights. Could you imagine somebody up there swinging those?
I can see him being the one.
Yeah, me too. We can see you doing that, Kyle. That's the bad thing. Doyle said remote control LED lights on the dash would be easy. That would be easy to hook up, I guess. Speaking of Doyle, I wanted to give a shout out here. Look up Racing for Autism Awareness. They're having a polar plunge. Check that out because that's for a good cause. I guess you running a lake, JT? You ever?
I'm going to be out of town.
No, I'm saying like they used to do that at school. all the time
they
too.
run out into a lake,
freezing cold lake,
for the Special Olympics and stuff.
Yeah, you just donate money or whatever to
great
Special
cause.
Olympics. Yeah, it is a great cause.
I've been a part of the team for a long time. Good people.
So, what's your guys' predictions for the rest of the week down in Vado? While we're on that,
Davenport, and then Davenport.
You think he's going to win all 6 of them?
Yeah.
Think he's going to win the truck?
I think unless something breaks. Like I said, just watching how hard he has to push his car to still win versus how hard everybody else has to push theirs to try and beat him. Like that is his driving style. He does not push it hard, but like he does know when he has to and when he doesn't. And to me, he still hasn't. I don't think he's even showed his full hand yet because I don't think he's had to.
What about okay? Let's put. I agree with Kyle. 32 gets one.
I do too.
Caleb says 49's taking it all. He's getting the 300,000 in the
I
truck.
think 6. If anybody thinks got a chance to get one, I think 6 has got a chance.
Yeah, I do too.
I think that would be the team that's gonna it's gonna take a team making big swings. You're not gonna unload the same car. You're not going to do what Davenport's doing, and you know what you got. You're not going to make a couple clicks here and a little bit here and expect to beat them. It's going to be somebody like the Rumley car that are going to be like, let's do something stupid, and we're either not going to make the show or we're going to beat them.
Right. And they've got a notebook.
Yeah,
they've done it all. Bobby's building one still.
Let's talk about this. And I'm not taking anything away from anybody. But do you think the competition at Votto has anything to do with it? What happens to JT when we go to Speed Weeks? What's your predictions there? Because now you're throwing everybody in.
I think that track suits him really good. I think it's kind of like an Eldora or like they compared it to like Lucas Oil Speedway. I think that track itself just suits Davenport. So I'm not predicting like the dominance all year, but like where he's at now at that track, I think he's just dialed. And I still predict like he's running Lucas Oil points. Aside now that they've mixed it up with that last race at Eldora thing with the top 4, like that's also JD's track, but that could still go to anybody. But it's like I think like regular season points champion has to be JD.
Yeah,
I really think though, like in his interview last night, he said, if I qualify bad and I get in the back of a heat race, he said, and I got to start in the back of a feature,
makes a world of difference.
He said, I don't know, Can I get to the front? But
yeah, I think. Or thanks for the update, Doyle. It is at Deems Lake in Indiana. So if anybody for the Indiana Racing for Autism Awareness, I like Kyle's point too here because this whole new tire rule thing's gonna be nuts too.
Yeah, it is.
It's going to be a game changer.
It's going to be for a lot of tracks, like everywhere. And yeah, the new tires is going to throw people for a loop. And then these guys. Like, not taking anything away from anybody on tour. They're all great drivers, right? They're all like, Hudson in the new rocket car. He's going to be something. All of these guys, they're all do this for their job. And you can only watch one guy kick your butt that many nights and before you not just like not all. They're always putting in the work before you're like, we really got to do something here.
Right.
Like we're tired of chasing the 49 and. The Rocket team and all the other guys who still run Longhorns, even, they're all going to be doing something that's going to be, like I said, what do we have to change? Where do we need to get better? And then, by mid-season, it could very well flip. There could be, another, Brandon Overton that kind of, is a hot shoe that all of a sudden comes out and starts just kicking everybody's butt. Yeah. And I think that could easily happen also.
And does Rocket hit on something midstream?
Yeah.
It's there's definitely a lot of unknowns.
I feel like for sure Mark Richards has definitely got a fire in him right now, seeing all these guys, switch teams, and it's like they still build good cars, right? So they're going to be out there like developing something new, and at some point they're going to hit it, and then there's always these big swings, right? I remember like 2017, Josh Richards in that best performance car, like he just like 2016, 17, right? Like, he was doing like the same thing, right? Especially down at East Bay and early in the season. Like he was just murdering them. And then, somebody somewhere does something, they have to. And then it all just kind of transitions. I think right now we're in the middle of the JD kind of thing, especially coming off the $2 million year, but it can't last forever.
Right. Yeah, somebody will hit on something eventually. And like Mike Field said, he goes, Superman's kryptonite is the short tracks. So that's 100% accurate.
Yeah. I don't look for JD to have a great showing at East Bay. Like I look for like that kind of to switch. Really, like he said, he is kind of the short tracks are kind of different to him. He has one at Brownstown, but then he'll go somewhere that's similar and struggle.
He ran fifth one night at Brownstown though, and just a $5,000 race that 1 year.
Yeah. So it's
that was pretty cool.
East Bay is a unique track, and they're it's the Turbo is always good there. So it'll be cool. Turbo's struggling right now. And then they go down to East Bay, and I could see Turbo doing what he did a couple years ago and winning 4 nights or something.
Right.
Devin Rand's my pick for East Bay. I love that kid. Yeah, I hope he does good in his new car, and that thing is sharp.
Nick Hoffman's car is sharp.
That car's sharp too. Yeah, there's some good looking race cars this year.
I'm anxious to see how Hoffman does.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to him coming out full time and
Maybe he'll quit building elites for a while.
Why don't you just go buy one?
Yeah, just buy one.
Yeah.
Money bags.
Yeah. I got all that in my
He's got to try out them updates.
That's why I told him, I said, all the money you're going to win this year. He'll be crate racing next year. Just saying. I'm calling it right now. I'm predicting it.
That is, to Derek's point, like he's talking about Madden. We hadn't talked about him. He ain't out there.
He's scared. He didn't even answer.
He did. He is.
Oh, so I was paying attention to the screen. What did you say?
He's super racing now.
Oh, yeah.
Who am I
still
scared
not even
of?
in his class.
He's on Lucas Stewart.
Who am I
He said
scared?
you're- He said you're scared.
Scared of who?
You didn't
Him
even
next year
answer.
when he's crate racing, you just went on to Derek's comment, and he said
I don't
you're
know,
scared.
man. I like
then
honestly.
you're going to Supers, you ain't worried about it.
That would be a scary thought. Can
stutter.
you imagine trying to lap him while he's trying to spin out?
I knew that was coming. I knew it was coming.
Yeah.
I was like,
I knew
Zach, you done opened up a
It's
can of
all
worms,
right.
bud.
I'm used to it, dude. I'm used to it.
You handed him the lighter to light the fuse.
It's all right. It's part of it.
All right, go back to what are you about Madden?
Yeah, Madden's not out there. Like he's
Right.
he was. I guess if you take away Davenport's $1 million win, Madden had the most earnings last year, or right at close to it. Like they were neck and neck. So it's like, when's he going to show back up? Is he going to be this in the same situation that he was in last year? Is he going to he kind of fell off a little bit towards the end, I thought, but and then like you got B-Shep and Pierce, who I think have yet to hit their strides in these Longhorns. Like
And they've only ran 3 races in them. That's crazy.
They haven't gone to any other. They've only done this track. They haven't. They might. You think they like them now? You go take them to a track that like their bread and butter. Those little bull rings in Illinois. Are they even better than they were? And then you go like East Bay. East Bay's such a different racetrack than Vado.
I want to see them all at Eldora and see how they do.
Yeah,
just to see if they compare to him. To Davenport.
Yeah, I think
Davenport's just got a unique line around that place. He diamonds that thing so hard off.
He's smooth.
He don't just ride the top. He don't just roll the bottom. He does his diamond thing, and it works for him that nobody else can do.
T-Mac hasn't, like they're always incredibly consistent, and then even when they're consistently good, you can tell that T-Mac he's always hungry for a win. So they're always still looking for something else, and he never runs bad for more than a week in a row because they're the kind of team that'll take swings that they need to for them to. That's part of the reason that they're back-to-back Lucas champs. So
right.
There's still a lot that can happen. I think there are a lot of good cars out at Vado, but there's also a lot of good cars that aren't there. And
Right.
It's going to be a good year of just racing in general, I think, competition-wise.
Yeah.
I think the sucky part is that the only time you're going to get them all together is going to be the Dreaming World because I feel like they're going to spread out everywhere.
Yeah.
They're not going to be together.
I'm going to kind of go through these comments a little bit, then we'll get down to. So, Mike Field said B-Shep will dominate speed weeks. Derek said Zach by Legacy. There you go. I mean, you could. It's just an hour.
That's your legacy.
You get your legacy.
Gosh.
Gavin McCormick said, please go to Florence and beat that Trent Green guy. And then to Kyle's point, Madden's going back to the Woo. I don't know, like JT's saying, I mean, there's going to be a lot of splitting after speed weeks, but I think Woo and Lucas are both going to be stout.
There are. And yeah, it's like, especially with JD going back to Lucas now. So then it's like, and then, the mix up with, I think Hudson, I haven't heard for sure, but I think they're running Lucas.
Yeah.
So it's like, they're going to have both Longhorn house cars basically. Or I know JD isn't, but so you're going to have the house car teams on Lucas, but then you're going to also have Shep and Madden if they're, at World Outlaws that are Rocket and Longhorn. So It's like, yeah, I think it's going to be and then Dennis Erb, obviously. I mean, he really, like, he wasn't quiet last year, but he wasn't like, he stepped up when he needed to win the championship, and he did really good. And it's like, I think he still has more too. He's always hungry.
I just feel like the World of Outlaws really hasn't had like a full field of talent, and in years past.
But the mix up this year with I think the money.
Yes.
Yeah.
Right. But I just think with the caliber that both series is going to have is going to be incredible.
Oh yeah.
Incredible racing.
I think there'd be a lot more guys that, like, with the money that the series are, like, amping up to. I think there are going to be a lot more guys that see it through, and you're not going to have, the guys are like, oh, I'm outside the top 10 or whatever. I'm not. They try and get in there.
So since you're our guest tonight, I want to get your opinion on something because we've talked about it plenty of times on the show. And you might have even commented on the night that we talked about it. I don't remember. But what's your opinion on the Lucas 4-person battle at the end?
I see both. I don't like that. It would absolutely suck to be let's say Hudson wins the championship, right? Hudson has the outright lead. Can you imagine Hudson going into Eldora and then JD winning the championship, right? It's like that would just be a total heartbreaker for everybody. I think not everybody around here is a HUD fan, but I think a lot of us are.
Yeah,
I would love to see HUD win the championship. It would absolutely be a heartbreaker to see somebody who put in the work to win. That's why a lot of guys don't like running. That's why I don't like running points. It is a huge dedication, right? So you're going to take, and you're going to make somebody, fulfill this, dedicate themselves to this series and put in all this work. Not to say the top 4 guys are all going to have to do it, right? But whoever did it the best throughout the whole year, and then it's just going to be able to lose it all in the last race.
Yeah, exactly.
But I also see it from a driver's point. It's like if the series comes down and they say, hey, we want to give you all this money, but this is how the program has to be for you to have it. Of course, you're okay with it.
Right.
Be like, oh, we can either stick with the points how they are, and you can still race for 150,000 or whatever it was.
Right.
Or you can do this last, this kind of playoffs deal, and you could potentially win 400. Or I think that's what it is. Isn't it? Yeah. So I think I'll go with that.
That's how I see it too. I think a lot of the drivers are okay with it because of money.
Right. Even if you do win the regular, season, I guess, if you're the high points man going in and then you somehow end up 4th, you still get $100,000.
Right.
And then it's like, but you want the championship, right? You want to be the guy on top, but it's a damn good consolation prize.
I think there's still something there to get that trophy at the end of the year for.
Yeah, I think I'm not to say that they won't. I haven't heard if they are going to do that, but I think they should. And I think they still could is add like NASCAR does. They do like a regular season championship.
Yeah.
If they did,
that would be cool if they did both.
Yeah.
Aspects of it. Zach Stalker's got that wrapped up.
No slack tonight.
2023.
It's all good.
Bud, are you going to sleep good tonight? I hate to give you such a hard time, but
no, buddy, I sleep good every night.
Don't matter, does it?
It don't matter.
Doesn't matter at all. While you're on the show, do you want to give a shout out to some of your sponsors? Because I know a lot of people. You have a list or anything?
Yeah, it's usually
me. You rattle them off. See how good you are.
First, Superheat Solutions, Justin Shaw, of course. He and I got to give a big shout out to him because he and I just, since I started this deal, we've just meshed really well together. We work really well together, and he's a big part of why I'm able to be competitive like I am now versus, how I was as a rookie when we first, started doing things. I'm able to give the feedback to him and he understands it, and we just work, like I said, really well together. So, huge shout out to him and everything he does for me to make sure that we are able to stay up front. LuLaRoe, Debbie Collins, my mom, her boutique up in North Vernon, Tail Feather Farm Market, S&M Precast, I'm sorry, Valvoline, Ride Auto Part Machine, Travis Kern Race Engines. Got to thank Travis. He built that engine for us, and I ran her too hot. That was my fault. That engine that Travis built for us to run the Jackson, no fault of his as to why it didn't make it to the end. The dirt got in there and knocked the water pump belts off, and it just got hot, and then I focused more on who I was running against, trying to run down Mike Marler and whoever I was racing. I just got a little starstruck and be like, oh, I'm racing with these guys, and then I kind of didn't look at my gauges like I should have, or I kind of ignored. I looked at them, but I ignored them. But he does my crate engine stuff too. He's the reason we were able to win a championship. He builds great engines. Capital Race Cars. I'm trying to think of who else was on the car that I forgot. Gosh, I know I'm forgetting people, and I'm sorry. We brought a couple of new sponsors on this year, which I give a shout out to them. Wells Construction, Nolan Wells, Diamond Finish Solutions. I'm probably getting that wrong. They do home interior painting. A huge shout out to those guys for coming on board this year. And anybody else, we still have room on the car if there's more people who want to help out next year and us try and get this engine back together and go super racing. But everybody who helps out, everybody who supports us, just a huge thank you to everybody. it's hard to keep a small team going, and especially with like how times are right now and everything being so expensive. So it's really cool to have all the help that we do, and just guys supporting, buying shirts, anything that helps us get up and down the road. We appreciate all of it.
Brandon's got a good question. I guess this is for Tyler and JT.
Apparently, he already knows the modified upfront cost.
We can talk about modified costs too, but
upfront cost for a Indiana Pro, I guess that kind of depends on a few different things. You could go out right now and buy a car that if you talk to the right people and put some good equipment on it, you could go out and buy probably a race ready car for, I'd say, 20. That would be competitive, honestly. Engine, everything, shocks. A lot of those guys out there, like, you might have to buy new shocks. That's usually what I tell everybody. It's like, get your shocks checked out, get new shocks. Talk to some guys that do some setup stuff. A lot of these late models, they're not money pits like everybody thinks. You don't have to have all this super lightweight, nice stuff on it. If you make sure you got good Heims on it that are free, you make sure your birdcage bearings are free, you make sure the car can do what it wants to do, and then you talk to some people that are knowledgeable and you actually figure out the car, you can be competitive. So it's not that hard to get into late models, but then you can also get to where you go out and you spend $70,000 on a roller for a crate. That's also an option. So it's like, right. It's kind of, I guess, as much money as you want to spend, and depending on, are you going to go race nationally, or are you going to race locally, or, what do you want to do? But you can get into crate racing and like, not just, say you have a late model, like you can get into a car that's pretty good for, I'd say, $20,000.
JT?
That actually surprised me. To run competitive at Brownstown in a super stock, I'd say, I wouldn't take any less than $20,000 for my car, and I felt like that's the low end on it. Mike Field had his price like $27,000, $28,000, so that was a low number. I thought, wow, that's maybe I'm doing the wrong thing here.
But it's like Tyler said too, though. It depends on what you want to spend. If you want to get on the track,
you can buy a super stock, go race at Brownstown, run top 10 with a $12,000-$13,000 car, or you can go to and I didn't spend $20,000 to $25,000 right off the bat. I started out with the biggest piece of junk you ever seen, and we upgraded slowly and got to where we are now. But I would like to say, if I was going to sell my car like it is and it's not brand new, that I would probably want $23,000 or $24,000 out of it.
Right,
as a real number.
Yeah. I'm not saying I'd sell my car for 20. I mean, I
don't know, and I don't know that's what everybody else is spending. But that's about what I've got in mind, probably. My Nolan, the Wells Construct, he sponsored me this year. I'm helping out on his car. He ran a little bit last year. He's got a 15 Masterbuilt, and I've watched the car go around the track. I've seen some things. He's still a rookie driver and stuff, and Justin's put a good setup on it. It's like, I watch that car. I know that if I got in that car, I could go out there and probably run fifth. Right. So it's like, I would call that competitive. And I think he's got probably roughly that in it. I don't that's roughly around that range of get a good, decent car. I would say to break into the top 5 and start, running with me, Chad, Steve, the Tylers and us up there, you're not spending 20. Like, I probably have spent close to the least out of all of us, I would say, but I don't know for sure what everybody else has in there, but I got a decent bit in mind. I think if I'm being honest, I probably have engine, everything in mind. I probably got a little north of 30. Probably got 35 in mind.
So that's what Brent.
That's kind of where I was eyeballing it.
Was your price was that with or without the motor?
That's with a motor. You can get those crate engines. You can get used crate engines, especially guys that are selling usually they'll just sell a race ready car with the engine and everything in it, because crate engines have gone up. They used to be like $6,500 to your door, and then buy some bolt-ons and stuff. But the bolt-on stuff is where you start getting real expensive. You start, if you, like I said, if you want to break into like competitive for wins, and it's like, well, you need the better carburetor. You need when it comes to crates and we're all even, you're not getting by with, we'll sacrifice this here and this here. Or it's like, well, and it's also not to say if you bolt on these fancy headers that you're going to gain a spot or two. It's like, you got to do all of it, because all the little things add up to a big thing. And So it's like that's where the kind of the price jump comes in, right? So it's like if you just do a couple of them, maybe you get a little bit better, but like you really have to put the whole package together of like, and then by that point you got a car that can go anywhere in the country, because that's kind of how crate racing is supposed to be. You're not, dumping all this money into an engine, but you're all maximizing the engine that you have, and then you're all back to an even playing field like it was supposed to be before we had $1,500 headers and $3,000 carburetors.
And a lot of that is buy as you go. You don't have to go buy that.
No.
Want to buy the $15,000 to $20,000 car. Spend the $1,000-$1,500 on parts every year.
It's not. That's what we did. Like I knew when I was, my 2018, my second year in, like we upgraded a couple things, and we got, we were kind of competing for wins. We only got like one that year. We had to travel up north and race against the super stocks kind of to do it, but like. We were competitive down south, but I didn't have everything that everybody else had then. But it's like we got a better carburetor in 2019, and we got better headers in 2020, and then we started, it's like, you don't have to go out there and just write somebody a blank check, especially if you're just jumping into late models, because I would say that what is worth the most speed in a late model, like I was saying, is knowledge and drive time. I would say like that's one of the things I think that sets me apart from like a lot of guys. The reason that I'm able to run good is like car feel. I feel like I have a really good car feel. I'm not going to sit here and tell you like I feel like I'm just a better wheelman than some people, but a late model kind of suits me because I feel like I can understand my car, and that's what a late model has gotten to be. Like it used to be, it was like that was like the guy like Godsey and all those those guys they were just the fastest cars with the biggest engines. Well, now it's late models are they're the most technological. They're the most. You have to have the most like understanding of your car. You can't just go out there. You can take a bad car and you can make it fast, but you're not going to be able to take a bad car and make it faster than everybody. Like it's just you're not going to be able to totally hurt your race car and still expect to go win, or you're not going to be able to like totally miss like a bar angle or something and expect it. Like you really gotta kind of, like I said, have the whole package, an understanding of how all four corners of the car work. And that's like, if you get seat time in a late model, that's worth more tenths than any, expensive bolt-on part, in my opinion.
Okay, well, let's get into this. Is the part here we wanted to hear. Let's get a price before and after updates.
That's you, buddy.
All right, so I started out, my first modified, I paid $3,500 for it, roller, and did pretty good in it. A lot better than I did this last year. The second one, it was a 2015 clamp car. I paid $7,500 for it, roller, I think. By the time I got done, I probably had 8 or 9 in it. That's no motor, no transmission. And this last year, I spent about $25,000 roller. No motor, no transmission. And you can go, I think elites are 40-some thousand if you buy a roller.
What's the updates?
Updates with a new rear clip was...
This is a big difference right here.
What was it, 900?
It was a lot cheaper than I thought it was going to be.
$900, I think, out the door.
Good. I thought that was really fair.
Yeah, it was like a whole rear clip, wasn't it?
Well, the right side bars, they had to cut all that off and redo it.
And they did a really good job. I was really impressed with. I mean, you can't even tell they were in there, really.
Yeah.
I had to have fixed on my car down at Capitol was like from like the middle of the fuel cell back, no suspension stuff or anything, and like they're like in total maybe like 8 feet of tubing, like all together with everything, and it was like $1,500.
Really?
Yeah. That part that got me when we picked the car up. Like I've been up at Circle City, like the track was slimier than I thought, and I just like the car just was going around, and it just backed it right into the wall, and it just bent it. Like I said, no suspension stuff. It was just like right in the middle of the fuel cell, right where the uprights come down from the halo, just from that part back. But I was like, I don't like having a nice race car that I can see a big bend in. So we got it fixed over the winter, and I got that bill, and I was like, holy crap.
Yeah, I was scared.
$900 sounds nice.
So $900 to win $20,000 in 2023.
Gosh,
worth every penny, bud. Worth every penny.
It is. They've treated me good, and really, really looking forward to it. But
think
like
it's
I
gonna be a good
said,
year.
you know, you can spend 40-some thousand to go win $600 every week too if you
Right.
want. It's all on how much you want to spend and how fast you want to go, right?
And
Yeah.
the trophies on the shelf and the wall are priceless.
Yeah, that's
So,
true.
I mean,
Forever.
you only get $600 or $1,000 or whatever, and there's guys out there, they win and they complain about the price and stuff, and it's like, I never got doing that because to me, this is what I signed up for.
Yeah.
I spent the money because I don't really you need the money to be able to keep it going. We can't go out there and race for free. We're all already going broke. We can't go that broke. But to me, that first time I parked it in Victory Lane, I was like, I don't give a crap how much money I get for
It
this.
does
This is
make it
cool.
worth it.
Right. It's
Yeah.
a feeling.
But
But
Tyler,
winning
do you-
big money is also cool.
yeah.
Do you have anything else you want to go over tonight?
Oh.
Anything we missed out on? Any late breaking news? This is the place for it. It's what we're known for.
Who's leading points in SIL?
I'm not even going to bring that
was-
up.
I tell you what, you guys are doing the World Outlaws game points.
Yeah.
I would just want you guys to know I'm also doing a league with 7 other guys, and our race started 6 minutes ago, and I had to miss it. And I was at a track I was probably going to win at. I was really good there.
Oh.
Yeah, so I missed a points night to be here with you.
What's
I
your-
would have
what's your
came here and
best
done
track?
that.
Probably it was Diamond Grove, the one we were going to tonight. That's probably
Yeah.
one of my best tracks.
Do you just race one track a night?
Yeah, well, we do one track for the points, and then we'll just keep racing other stuff.
We do
But
5 tracks a night.
Holy
for
crap!
On a Friday night, 2 races at each track. We take.
I
your
don't do
best finish.
setups. I don't do
No
I don't-
custom setups.
No, they do. Like the guys I race against, some of those guys, they're really fast. They'll spend some time on a setup, and I don't have. I
want to ask you a question. Do you race on normal?
No, I race on expert.
Oh, okay.
You're the only guy raced on normal.
Yeah.
'Cause
I'm
you're too
leading
soft.
I was leading points.
He was. But who's leading now?
I know.
Me.
Yeah.
Yeah, you okay?
Yep, I'm leading.
Like you're not.
So we race on Friday nights, and I'm going to Pedon's tomorrow night to do a shop talk. So
Hey,
So-
hey, make sure you get that
I'm
camera
s-
under the car.
I'm supposed to miss tomorrow night for our Winter National Series.
but
But if I can, I think I might have time to get back.
Just take your Xbox up there and be like, "Hey, can I borrow your TV?"
Yeah,
for a
I
little bit?"
need to borrow a TV.
I almost thought about bringing my PlayStation down here and be like, we got to cut this show off at 9. And then I'll be like,
Time
use
to
your
race.
Wi-Fi. And
Yeah, good times.
Now I'm going to be like last in points.
Hey,
So
you'll be
I'll,
okay.
I'll take over.
you know all about it, don't you?
I ain't last.
Hey, if I get back tomorrow night, I'm taking over points.
You ain't taking over points, Lee.
Yeah, I am.
But you're 2
It's my
points out.
it's my tracks.
Kokomo is. Yeah, you're good at Kokomo.
There it is. Pete's going to hook me up.
Peden, don't help him out.
Hey,
No.
Hey, Matt was saying before the show he's going to live stream video from underneath your car, and he's going to show it to all of us. So
Yep.
He done
high speed
told-
internet's going to help with that.
We're
done-
actually going to have a chassis school tomorrow night at Pete's shop. Go live on
I need-
Facebook.
Yeah, I need to listen to that.
Yeah. Okay. Well, if you guys ain't got anything else covered tonight, I'm glad that everybody tuned in tonight. We had another stream of constant 40, 45 viewers, so I appreciate everybody's support. I do want to go over my sponsors real quick. Grand Simpson Racing, Hillbilly Barbecue and Tenderloins, Green Auto Sales, Solutions Directional Drilling, Indiana Farm Bureau Agent Jason Petmeyer, B&D Excavating and Septic, P3 Graphics and Race Wraps, Haller Motorsports and Fab, and M2 Custom Designs. So I appreciate all their support on this Flag to Flag deal, and I appreciate my 2 co-hosts over here that help me drag us along every week. So until the next flag flies, we will see y'all later.
That was not right.
That was right.
No.